Well, welcome back to our study called the Ark and the Covenant, not Ark of the Covenant, Ark and the Covenant. And today we're looking at Genesis 6:11 through 13 in our study here. And so we're going to be talking about how God sees evil. We should know that, right? God sees evil and then he pronounces judgment. In verses 11 through 12, we see repeated how evil man has become. The earth was corrupt, filled with violence, because all flesh had corrupted their way. Seeing all this evil, God declares judgment. I have determined to make an end of all flesh, is what he says. It is God's responsibility to uphold justice on the earth and declare what is right and wrong because he is the judge. Many generations after Noah, Abraham asked God to spare Sodom. Abraham believes that the Lord is judge and a just judge, for one of his arguments before God was, shall not the judge of all the earth do what is just? Of course, that is what God does. For in Noah's day, we find that God is just in his judgments. This is exactly what Moses has been building the case for here in Genesis. God was just for the destruction of the world by the flood. That's his argument. That's what he's been building up to, showing us the line of Cain, how evil Cain's family was, and mentioning several times about how evil mankind has gotten and the violence of mankind. So he's building this case that the just judge has to exact judgment on a sinful world. So beginning with Adam and Eve, and then Cain and Cain's descendant Lamech, and finally to Noah's day, when everyone's intention was evil, Moses has shown us that people spread evil everywhere, and it affected not just them, but all flesh. Of course, God doesn't have to justify himself to his creatures, but he does oftentimes anyway. Gardiner Spring said, this is the view of man's fallen nature as it is presented to the eye of God. And we're no marvel that men do not take this view of themselves or of one another. They're not used to take a just view of their own character, nor is it an easy thing for them to do. To nothing are men more blind than to the abominations of the human heart, nor are there any impressions which they stifle and resist more vigorously than those which give them just conceptions of themselves. That's what Gardiner Spring said. And it's true. So we have, in these few verses, God's just judgment. Mankind was evil. Every intention of his heart was wrong. And so God is showing us here in Scripture that his judgments are just, they are right, and they're good. Even though we might not like the fact that all flesh had to die, that's exactly what their sins deserve.